Are you thinking about moving here to Southeast Michigan and maybe Rochester is on the list? Well, in this video, we want to not only give you an insight into Rochester, Rochester Hills, but a couple of the surrounding cities as well to Rochester, Michigan, so you can get a little bit better lay of the land, understanding of what some options are in that area, and see if it's a good fit for you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Matt Talbot. I am your host today of the Living in Detroit channel. On this channel, we talk about all things Southeast Michigan, Michigan as a whole, moving to, living in, so you can have a better understanding of your move here to Michigan. In this video, we're gonna deep dive into Rochester, Rochester Hills, and some of the surrounding cities as well too, so you can better understand that area. A lot of our clients moving here to Michigan, one of their focal points is Oakland County and that Rochester type area. And so we want to give you some of the statistics of Rochester, some of the housing statistics, and some of the surrounding communities, as well as a little bit more about the education, things to do, that type of stuff in this video. So jumping right in, we have 3 different cities to start with, and jumping right in, we're going to actually review Rochester and Rochester Hills first. So jumping right in, we're going to start with Rochester and Rochester Hills. So you have the city of Rochester, which is in Oakland County, population 12,800. It's a northern suburb of Metro Detroit and about 40 minutes from Detroit. So that's about right, 30 to 40 minutes depending on traffic and stuff like that, from the city of Detroit, and it's right up 75. So we talk about the 75 corridor quite a bit. 75 runs right through Detroit, goes all the way to the UP, and again all the way back down to the tip of Florida. So that runs right through Detroit, and you can definitely take that from Detroit to Rochester. And then you have Rochester Hills, which is a much bigger city, much bigger area. And that's 76,000 people, of course, also in Oakland County, and is the 14th most populous city in Michigan. So it's top 20, actually top 15, top 14 to be exact, of course, in Michigan as far as size. So 76,000 people, it's a very populated area for a lot of different reasons. One thing that I love about Rochester Hills is the parks and trails. I actually had the opportunity to live in the Rochester area for some time, and one of my favorite parts of that part of Southeast Michigan is really like the rolling hills and kind of the nature that you start to get in that part of town. There's a lot more trees than some other suburbs here in Southeast Michigan. You get a little bit more, like I said, elevation changes. A lot of Southeast Michigan is pretty flat, but you get some more elevation changes and stuff like that once you get into that part of Oakland County. There's 14 different trails and parks according to their rochesterhills.org's website. Avondale, Bloomer and Yates Parks, Borden Park, Brooklands Park, Clinton River Trail. I mean, there's a lot of them, and there's different flavors of what you get. Some of them are small parks, some of them are bigger walking trails, a lot of stuff for the kids in that community throughout Rochester Hills. Another key piece of the Rochester area, in my opinion, is Oakland University. That's the reason why I was out there for a while. I went to Oakland University for some time, and Oakland University is in the Rochester area as well too. So college campus, lots of things happening from that, but again, beautiful landscaping, beautiful golf courses, lots of nature trails. It just is a little bit more green part of town, in my opinion, in that area of Southeast Michigan. It's kind of the flavor that I'm trying to paint, or the pictures I'm trying to paint for you, so you can understand that flavor of what it's like here in Michigan. So when we're talking about Rochester and the education system, it's going to roll in Rochester and Rochester Hills all into one education system. There's 13 preschools, 14 elementary schools, 5 middle schools, 9 high schools. So it's quite a big district when you talk about the Rochester School District. I mean, that's huge, and that's due to, combined size of close to 100,000 people between Rochester and Rochester Hills. There's a big amount of population in that area, right? 19-to-1 student-teacher ratio, and it has a 97% graduation rate. According to Rochester K-12, 97% graduation rate. 7 out of 10 students in 11th to 12th grade have at least one AP course on their schedule. I don't know if you have, I think APs across the country, not sure about that because I grew up in Michigan, but AP courses are those advanced placement courses that usually people are working ahead of the curve when they're taking AP courses. Adams, Stony Creek, and Rochester High Schools ranked the 95th percentile or above for SAT performance in Michigan. So they're top performers here in Michigan. Among 25,000 high schools across the country, U.S. News and World Report ranks Adams, Stony Creek, and Rochester high schools in the top 5% or better. So there's a ton of good statistics on the school district in Rochester, and that's one of the reasons why it's such a sought-out community. So another reason why I think so many people are attracted to the Rochester Hills areas is, like I said, it's very spread out. You got a lot of land, a lot of greenery, some rolling hills, beautiful trees, and all that stuff. And you also have downtown Rochester as well too, which is a cute old town type feel, Michigan type town, which we talk about a lot on this channel. So if you look at some different statistics, I mean, both Rochester and Rochester Hills date back to the 1800s. Rochester Hills itself settled in 1817, organized in 1835 as Avon Township, and then incorporated in 1984, City of Rochester Hills. So it's been kind of a populated area for a long time. Back in the day, that would have been all farmlands and stuff like that in the Rochester area, and it's of course developed quite a bit. Regarding housing statistics, I'm going to jump into in a minute, but the type of houses in Rochester, although the city's very, very old, there's some older, farmhouses and stuff like that in the actual city area and closer downtown area. And of course spread out throughout the land as well too. There's been a lot of new construction, especially over the last 20, 30 years. There's been a lot of new construction in Rochester, so it's really exploded and grown a lot of ways over the last few years. 20, 30 years, it's been growing quite a bit, and it's why it's such a populated area. So there are newer construction options. You do have some new build options in the Rochester area as well too, as well as homes that are built in the last 20, 30 years, as well as older houses as well. So breaking down the housing statistics, my team kind of broke it down a couple different ways. One is average price range for Auburn Hills School District. So you can be in Rochester and actually be in Auburn Hills Schools is $631,500. Rochester Hills School District, $452,500. So there's a breakdown there. Average days on market hovers between 15 and 21 days in the Rochester area. So that's really, really quick. A lot of the cities we talk about here in Michigan, days on market for the amount of days it takes for a listing to go pending is really hovering in that 30 days on market or so. So to see it, 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks is a really quick, fast-paced market. Average price per square foot is competitive for a lot of areas as well too, rolling between $214 and $217 per square foot. And like I said, there's a lot of different types of homes. There's actually townhouses and stuff like that in the downtown area, ranches, colonials, bungalows, Cape Cods, contemporary craftsmen, which is going to be some of the newer construction homes as well too. So a plethora of different options, a lot of different new construction options, a lot of different areas that you can select in a Rochester Hills community. And again, some of it's a little bit more spread out. So if you're looking for more land, this could be a pocket of town that might be of consideration for you as well too. We have 2 other cities we want to talk about in the Rochester area coming up next.